recorded from this studio. You're watching the Mad Bomber podcast. Now, we had to record this episode because Oracle's agent is still pushing to go live. He wants a live feed. So we're still working out the details. It's kind of like dealing with Iran right now. He's just he's really flip-flopping. So we're going to go ahead and record this. So, guys, lots going on with the Raiders at OTAs. We're going to have another show that's going to be recorded that you'll see another in a week from this Sunday. Realistically, we have some vacation coming up, some well-deserved vacation that the Oracle's agent has put in. And so we will be out for 2 weeks, but we're recording 2 shows. And we're going to have a special guest, Wyatt from the Red Zone and from the Sack Blackout crew. He's going to be with us. But Oracle, let's get into Clint Kubiak. We will talk about the OTAs on the next show. But right now, the Oracle did a lot of dissecting into what's going on, what's possibility with this new offense that we're going to see, this zone blocking offense, this misdirection offense. A lot. This was if you're an older Raider fan, you'll probably remember this a lot from the Denver days. If you remember Jake Plummer, you remember naked bootlegs. You remember Terrell Davis finding the hole, kind of like what Kenneth Walker did in the Super Bowl against the Patriots. So, again, guys, this is a work in progress. You got to get the linemen, which I call the Rockettes. They got to be on the same page, all moving in unison. And I'm sure if you watch the videos that we have today, you'll see that. You'll see that everybody's moving in unison because these are the plays that worked. And there's a lot of plays. I watched a lot of plays. There was a lot of plays that don't work. If one man's swimming the wrong way, it just doesn't work. So this is a very meticulous offense. Very, very strategy is going to be key. Misdirection, deception is going to also be key. So, Oracle, as I was looking through the videos that you sent me through your agent, I was noticing one thing that reminded me of what the Jake Plummer years were, is that the quarterback has to throw off that back foot. He's going actually the opposite way. And it's going to be one of those things where I think that I would see Fernando Mendoza having an easier time maybe than Kirk Cousins would, because he's got a little bit more juice under his feet than the Kirk Cochains. But ideally in this offense, because I saw Jake Plummer do it, and he wasn't nifty of foot, but he was a taller guy that could actually move quick just because he was sliding bigger. What do you see when you see these two quarterbacks and how they actually are going to be able to orchestrate this offense?
Well, I think the most important thing to understand with the Clint Kubiak offense, and today we're going to show 6 plays, and 3 of them are going to be run plays and 3 of them are going to be pass plays. And I kind of did that on purpose because I want you guys to understand that a Clint Kubiak offense is 50% run, 50% pass plays called. And he really does a great job of keeping it even and keeping the defense guessing of whether it's going to be run or pass. Everything's going to be, not everything, but a lot of plays are going to be from under center, which is kind of like what you're saying, Johnny. It's really going to test the quarterback's footwork and whether they're going to have to throw off their back foot. They're going to, I think with the bootlegs, Clint Kubiak's going to do a good job of moving the pocket. But today we're really going to understand how the run game is used to set up the play action pass plays, and how the defenses, when they initially see that fake of a handoff, they have to fit their run fits. And then when the receivers go out into pass patterns, you're going to see the linebackers and safeties, all the second level defenders, they have to go trail from behind in order to catch up, because they realize that they don't have to defend their run fits anymore, but they have to respect their run fits, especially with a guy like Ashton Janty in the offense.
Perfect. So you have right now, you have 100% confidence that Kirk Cochains can actually do this offense in a quality manner.
I do. I mean, look, he's 37. Is he going to be as mobile as he was before. And being under center really tests your mobility because you got to take the handoff. You got to move into the get the ball, especially on the wide zone. You got to get laterally. It's not just going in a straight line backwards to hand the ball off. You got to get outstretched almost in like a 45-degree angle to either hand the ball off to the back or fake the ball, fake a handoff, and then get out in a bootleg. So I do think he can handle it at this stage of his career. I think that's why they brought him in, and I think that another year off of being healthy, I think he'll definitely feel a lot better this year than he was last year.
Awesome. And again, because that handoff is very deep, that's why you go under center, and it gives that running back an extra split second to check the cutbacks. So, Oracle, what would you like to show our audience today first?
Well, the first thing I want to explain to people is that with the wide zone scheme, it's different than a power or a gap scheme, where if you're running power or counter, is that it's going to force the defenses to move laterally. And it's because the offensive line is moving laterally as well. And the first play we're going to show is there's three types of options that the running back has to make a decision in a zone scheme. He's either going to bang it, bend it, or bounce it. And the first one we're going to show is a play against the 49ers, where when a play is perfectly blocked, like it is here, Kenneth Walker is going to bang it right in between both the tight ends right here. And he's going to score a touchdown off of this because the two tight ends are going to execute their blocks, and they're going to deliver a perfect hole for Kenneth Walker to go through. Now, when we show the end zone copy, we're going to really show how the two tight ends, I want you to look at the two tight ends, both to the left of one's going to go in motion, but one's going to go right back to his spot. And you're going to see when the ball is snapped that both the tight ends are going to execute their blocks perfectly. And then there's going to be a clear hole that Johnny could drive his Tesla through. And with this is called a bang run. This is the first, when a play is blocked perfectly, this is exactly what you want to see out of the running back right here. Let's show it one more time. See, both the tight ends get into perfect position, and then you just see there's no defender. It's just the free safety that's going to have to come into play, and he's going to be a little late coming through here. And look, we could see Michael Mayer and Brock Bowers executing those blocks right there too to allow Ashton Jeanty to get in for a touchdown.
We got to make sure the Rockets are all working in the same line. And I believe that with what do you think about would you say that Ashton Jeanty is a perfect fit for this offense?
Maybe he's not a perfect fit. I do think he could work in a gap scheme too, but I think Ashton Jeanty is such a unique player that he's going to make it work in this scheme. It's really going to test his vision, as you see. And the next two plays that we show is really going to be plays that really test the vision. Now, when a linebacker over pursues to defend a stretched run play, it's going to be on the running back to cut it back. We hear about what's called one-cut runners all the time. And this play right here is a perfect example of a running back making a cut in order to get to the backside. And he's able to find some green grass, and he's able to be one-on-one with the defensive back here. And this not just require, and this is going to be a perfect. So I want you to watch number 6. He's the middle linebacker over the left tackle right here. He's the one unblocked defender on this play. Kenneth Walker is going to see that pretty quickly. And when there's an unblocked defender, Kenneth Walker understands I need to get away from the unblocked defender. So I'm going to cut it back in the opposite direction and see there's a hole right there and pick up a nice 13-yard gain right there. So look, not everything's a home run, but at the same time, he's executing what he's being asked to do in the offense. If the linebackers over pursue to the play side, Ashton Jeanty's got to cut it to the backside. And this is going to, like you said, with the Rockettes got to move in forward fashion laterally. And when it's the play, if the defense also guesses correctly, it's on the back to make the offensive line right. So it's not just the blocking, but it's also the decision that Ashton Janty's going to make, knowing when to cut it back in a situation like that.
This is what's going to be the test for him this year, because I think, and I have all the confidence in the world in this kid, because from week one, we talked about his blocking getting better every week. We talked about his vision. And if you watch even the vision from game one, where it was, it wasn't bad, but when he got to the game against the Texans, that was vision. He did well in the Chicago game, and actually in the first home game against the Chargers, he did well, but they just didn't block for him. He was actually picking. We showed it. He was actually picking the right holes. Just our line, just either by poor teaching or poor playing, just didn't work out very well. So let's go ahead and go to our next one.
Yeah. So the last play I showed was when the running back had to bend it back. Sometimes you don't bend it back. Sometimes you got to bounce it to the outside. So it's the opposite of a bend. So instead of cutting it back, you go in the opposite direction. Sometimes you got to kind of go even further in the direction of the play side. And this is called a bounce run play. So what's going to be shown right here from the end zone copy, I want you to watch the tight end to the right of the right tackle here. The edge rusher that he's blocking is going to initially set the edge right here, but the tight end's going to do a really good job of regaining the edge right here with a kickout block. And the running back has to get in between the right tackle and the tight end here. And what's going to happen is Cooper Kupp on the outside. And I really think Jack Besh is going to be a Cooper Kupp in this offense in terms of being a very good blocker. Now, I think this tight end could be Michael Mayer right here, really executing these blocks right here. So go ahead and roll the play, Johnny. We're going to see this tight end really regain the edge right here. So there we go. The edge is set by the edge rusher right here. It looks like he's about to, but the tight end does a really good job of getting position. And then this allows Kenneth Walker to bounce it to the outside even further, because all the defenders of the Bucs, they were able to get into the box and they were able to take away all the rushing lanes. But because Cooper Kupp,
let's watch that, because that's a great example right here, because I do believe Jack Besh will make that block and then get destroyed doing it.
Definitely, yeah. So look, Cooper Kupp is able to just get enough of the cornerback right here to be able to give Kenneth Walker some extra running room. And Kenneth Walker is able to take this for a nice 13-yard run. So this is just a good way of effectively rushing the football. The running back it's not perfectly blocked for him, but he's able to make a decision to make his offensive line right. And that's what the zone scheme does. It's not just about everything being on the offensive line and the running back having to run through a designed hole. The running back is going to create his own hole in this offense, and he has to make a decision to make his offensive line look right.
And let's watch the Rockettes. That we've watched Cooper Kupp. We watched our tight end 88 set the edge. Let's watch those legs from the Rockettes. And this is why this play works.
Definitely. And the right tackle.
Look at that. That is just poetry in motion right there. That is something that is beautiful for me.
Me too, Johnny. Definitely. And you see everyone moving horizontally right there. I mean, that's all three plays we've showed you is the offensive line moving horizontally. And that's how the Raiders are going to look this year. That's why they got Tyler Linderbaum, because he's able to move horizontally. He's able to get to the next gap to the left or to the gap to the right of him, and he's able to seal his guy off.
One of the other things that I was thinking about last week, and they were talking about, there's talking about our offensive linemen, and again, they're already putting guys in the starting role and putting guys in the second string. And again, if you did listen to Clint Kubiak, he echoed what I had said last week, that guys, our big week this year, the week with that everybody should be watching with bated breath. You should be on your Twitter page. You should be on your Raider page. You should be on our page. Is going to be the week of the Texans game. Everybody's going to be excited for that first game against the against the Arizona Cardinals. But that week with the Texans is going to be some bad mother effers out there. The Texans are very well coached. They're very physical on offense and defense. And so this is going to be a very exciting week for us. So for me, it's fun to watch what's going on in OTAs. The most important thing that I wait for at the end of the day is that we don't have any injuries. There's no injuries, and we'll talk about that on next week's show. So, Oracle, let's go ahead. We're going to move a little bit away from running the ball. Who would you like to see next?
Let's show our new receiver, Dariki Young. I mean, I'm surprised we even found a highlight of him because, everyone kind of thought when we saw, I don't even think a lot of people realize that this guy's on the roster. And here he is making a nice play as a Seahawk against the Tampa Bay Bucks. Kind of makes a Randy Moss catch right there. And
he does.
That might have been his only catch in the season. I didn't really follow it.
It wasn't a catch because they called it back on a penalty. There was a penalty. So this was hard for me to find. I explained that to your agent why I had to bill for an extra hour. So
definitely. Hey, that's an hour of pet insurance right there. But
there you go.
Nonetheless, this is another fake handoff, and this is how the running game is used to set up the passing game. And you could see Dariki Young is right in the bottom middle of the screen right there, one-on-one on a defensive back. And this is what the run game does. It sucks all the defenders down into the box to where you're able to get some one-on-one matchups for your receivers with a corner or a safety. And it's kind of just on the quarterback to put it right in the area for your big bodied receiver to make a play. And I'll say this, I think a lot of people are we're talking about Jalen Naylor, we're talking about Tucker, we're talking about Besh. I think Dariki Young is going to be, not only because of his special teams ability, but I think he might have an opportunity to maybe get some wide receiver reps with the Raiders this year. And it might kind of surprise some people.
Yeah. Looking at this tape again, let's watch Cooper Kupp, number 10, coming across. This is what it also does to a defense. Let's watch. We'll isolate. Watch number 10. He's coming across. Look at 54. Whoops. Did I grab him? Look, 54's hell bent on getting Kenneth Walker here. Oh, no. Oopsie. I'm going the wrong way.
That's a veteran move right there by Cooper Kupp. I mean, when you're in the league all those years, it's kind of the little, that's the thing I like about him. He does the little things very well that doesn't show up in the stat sheet.
Yeah. And you know what? And it's to our fans out there, or if you guys like our podcast, please like and subscribe and comment. We've been loving that. And the show's growing. We're very happy with the way the show's growing. But when you talk about the little things, that's the difference between winning and losing. There's always an edge. And I think that was what they were talking about early when they brought in Kubiak, is they want the edge. Well, what does the edge mean? It's that, what you just saw with Cooper Kupp. There's the little things getting in the way, coming in and taking that extra rap on the head like he did in the first video we showed. Popped Kenneth Walker for 13 yards. You're like, well, it's only 13 yards, but it wouldn't have been anything if the Rockettes, Cooper Kupp, and the tight end don't work in unison. So, guys, this offense is going to be pretty when it's a finished product. Finished product. That's what we want to remember. Everybody, your TMZ Raider fans, the Raiders are going to have 7 and 10 wins this year. I would love that. I mean, we all would love that. But let's make sure the Rockettes are working out well, and then we can go from that to there. So, Mr. Oracle, what do we want to see next?
Well, I mean, hard to be remiss if we showed a play on the Seahawks without a tight end, because we got to imagine or get a little taste of what Brock Bowers could maybe do on play action. So let's go to the Super Bowl. Let's go to a play where, again, Sam Darnold's under center. We got 2 tight ends. Is it going to be a run? Let's see. Looks like a run. Nope, it's a pass. And it really fooled the Patriots defense right here. And A.J. Barner of the Seahawks was able to just be wide open in the end zone. And let's get a look at this from the end zone copy. So this is ace formation. So that when you got one tight end to the left, one tight end to the right, that's called ace formation. Just a little nugget to throw your way. And we're going to get a little motion. Another big thing that expect in this offense is motion. And just look at the linebackers on this play when the ball snaps. And
Let's see.
So, when the ball snapped right here, you're going to see the linebackers really just get sucked up, believing it's going to be a run. They're a lot of communication. Man, they really get in their gaps. And then number 51 is just way behind AJ Barner.
That's just a beautiful call right there.
Yeah, that is. That's just really that's Clint Kubiak at its finest. See, this is what you get when you have an offense that's 50% run, 50% pass. It really keeps the linebackers guessing, and they're not able to key in on a certain tendency. And it's able to set up big play action plays and score touchdowns. Now, Brock Bowers is going to get a lot more attention than an AJ Barner does. So when he's running down the field, I wouldn't expect Bowers to be that wide open, but it just goes to show the kind of plays that Clint Kubiak can design to pick apart a defense.
And if you're hammering on the defense, you're going to see this guy, number 51, whether it's Brock Bowers or AJ Barner, he's going to try to get the edge, especially when you're almost at 200 yards rushing. So watch 51. Boom. He's already in. He's trying to set the edge. He does not want another rushing touchdown against him in the Super Bowl. And then boom. Uh-oh. Where's my safety help? Well, they were taking the top off. Again, another beautiful call by Clint Kubiak. And again, we're very, very lucky that the Giants beat the Cowboys because it really did fall in well. Clint Kubiak got his quarterback of the future. We got our coach of the future. So it went hand in hand. So lastly, Mr. Oracle, what do you want to see from the we have one more video. What do you want to show on this video? Because I know you really like this video a lot.
Yeah, this is my favorite Clint Kubiak play call that I've seen so far. And this is not a play action pass. This is a drop back pass in the shotgun. And this is going to be a touchdown to Jackson Smith-Njigba. Now, Smith-Njigba is right now at the bottom of the screen. He's about to motion into the backfield right here. And what you're going to see is a very good route concept. I want you guys to watch the cornerback at the top of the screen right above number 10, because the receiver at the top of the screen is Rashid Shaheed, and he's going to run a corner route right here. And the corner route is going to distract the corner and take the corner out of his zone. And Clint Kubiak is going to sneak Jackson Smith-Njigba into the voided area of the field of where the cornerback should be covering. Now, this is what's called a scissors concept. It's a concept where you got Rashid Shaheed running a post, and then you got Jackson Smith-Njigba running a corner route. So if you were to draw it up on a play card, it would kind of look like a pair of scissors like this, crossed together. So to me, this is just a really good play call. And you got Cooper Kupp, who's in the slot. He's running just a little hitch route. He's going to take one defender. And this is just the Rams in quarters coverage. And what they have here is they have rules in their coverage where one guy's going to get the guy in the flat, the other guy's going to take the deep guy. And by Clint Kubiak kind of running this little corner route right here, he's able to really pick on the rules in their coverage, and he's able to kind of crack the code in a way of this defensive coverage. So I think it's just a great play call by Kubiak to really understand how the defense is taught and how to expose a vulnerability in their teachings.
And again, we're going to be monitoring this offense, especially after the Arizona game. We're going to look at what's going on, and I don't know how vanilla Clint Kubiak's going to want to be in preseason. I don't think he's going to be vanilla when they practice against the Texans. I think that's when the bag of tricks comes out, and he may show something here or there. but I believe that it's going to be a very, very vanilla game against Arizona. Just get through it. I think they want to see, how their team is. You get through the pregame. How are we looking on the field pregame? How are we looking on the field communication wise upstairs? Communication with each other, getting the right special teams guys in, the people in and out, and then we'll start to see some a little bit more imagination in the second game when we play the Texans. So before we go, guys, you watch this today. It's recorded, but please like and subscribe. We are so blessed to have as many likes that we are getting and subscriptions. Our subscriptions are doing very, very well, especially for being only 9 months old. Thank you very much for all of you. We got some presents for everybody if you're at the game starting against the Niners. So lastly, we talked about this a little bit. In fact, our good friend of the show, Leonard from the Dark Side Tailgate, asked us about Henry Ruggs, and he was denied parole. It seemed like it was a foregone conclusion, the way everybody was talking, that he was going to get paroled. So when I saw this, and I don't know much about it because it really doesn't mean much to me. He's not on my team. It's the only reason we're talking about it is because it's a Raider, or else we wouldn't talk about it if it was somebody else. And there's a lot of stuff going on everywhere else. There's a lot of people that are getting their mustard on their hot dogs. So when I saw this, to be honest with you, because I'm never honest with anybody, I was relieved. And not because I don't want him out of jail. That's not my decision, and I don't know what goes into it. Don't want to know. That's not what I want to do. But what I was more relieved than anything is that in year one of the Clint Kubiak Raiders, there wasn't another distraction. Oh, he's out in August. Hey, do we bring him in? Who do we get rid of? You know what? I like the way everything is going. There hasn't been very much controversy. The TMZ podcasters are so bored right now. They're asking, we're getting questions that are just don't even make sense. So, Oracle, I'm sad for Henry Ruggs' family that he didn't get out. And again, I don't know what it is. He's paying his debt to society. Obviously, he's being a good person inside because they've said that. That was one of the things that's been said. But can you go ahead and explain to me how, when you first, what was your reaction when you first heard the news that he was going to stay in jail?
Well, it looks like he's never going to have another opportunity to play football again, because I don't know when his next parole hearing is going to be, but I assume it's going to be years down the road. And for a speed receiver, he's just going to be older. And I mean, has he been run? I mean, you could work out in prison, but can you really run sprints and stuff like that to really keep in touch with your speed?
Right.
That's something I've always wondered. So, yeah, I mean, I looked into, I Wikipedia'd Henry Ruggs yesterday just because I was curious about his background and stuff like that. He was a 4.0 student. He did really good charity work, and it really just goes to show how when you make one stupid decision with alcohol, it could ruin your entire life. So, yeah, I mean, look, I still feel bad for the victims of what happened. I feel bad for his family, but yeah, this is going to be that was his last chance to play football. And it did kind of seem like a foregone conclusion of when, because I would see articles of, oh, what should the Raiders do when he gets out and stuff like that. But he's not going to get out. And it didn't really seem like anyone really had that in their minds. So.
And I haven't dug deep enough into it to know when his next parole is. You know what I mean? Right now, the Oracle and I are trying to get a glimpse of what we are looking forward to seeing on defense. Our show last week, you can rewatch that show on Robbie Leonard, and then on what we think Robbie Leonard's going to do. And then right now we're trying to figure out what our offense is going to look like. You know, what are similar pieces of the puzzle that we have that we saw in Seattle, and then also that we saw in New Orleans as well with Derek Carr there with Clint Kubiak. So, Oracle, go brush your teeth. We got another show to do. You don't get to see it this Sunday, but you get to see it the following Sunday. And guys, just a reminder, we will be at the Dark Side Tailgate for the last preseason game, the Niners preseason game. And we will be, obviously, I have not ever missed a regular season Raider game since 1978, minus the LA years, Jimmy Wolf. And so I was brought to my, well, you didn't go to LA. So every Oakland and Las Vegas home game since 1978, I have been a part of. Thank you very much. And I'm not tooting my horn. I'm just making sure that I'm not being deceiving or deceptive. Is that a good word?
Well, because you're never deceptive, right?
I may or may not be. So, Oracle, go brush your teeth. Are you going to change clothes so we look different? No. Okay, I'm going to still have the greatest monster donuts that are ever made here. I'm going to do a short. The greatest donuts, you know where it's at. They are the greatest. They are the greatest. Oracle, I'll see you in 15 minutes. Keithy, go brush your teeth. And we will see you next week. Make sure you like and subscribe, Dan R. All right. Talk to you later. Good night now.
Now it's Ciani to the left. Biletnikoff to the right against Marsalis. Back is LaMonica. Throws for Biletnikoff. Touchdown Raiders! Biletnikoff is having words right now with Marsalis. Fred caught that ball after quite a physical battle with Marsalis in the right corner of the end zone. He went on out of the end zone, and then instead of slamming the ball into the turf, he ran back in about 10 yards to where Marsalis was and defiantly slammed it in the turf in front of Marsalis. The two tight ends are lined up as tight ends. Back goes Darrell to pass. He's looking for Smith, but instead goes down the middle. Chester, touchdown Raiders! Holy Toledo, what a great ball! 19 yards and a Raider touchdown to make it 22-3. Chester had gotten free at the 5 and was all alone in the end zone 2 yards in. The Chargers now have a brilliant opportunity to put this game away. Here's Williams to the left, Garrison to the right, flanks right, Charlie Smith out to the left as a wingback, leaves only one back to block, that's Hubbard. LaMonica back, gets fine blocking, now he throws down the middle, Branch at the 20. Branch at the 18, tripped up, keeps going, reverses to the 15, he's at the 10, he dances down to the 9-yard line. First and goal to go Raiders. 1 minute and 30 seconds left to go, and hang on to your hats. Branch is still in. He goes to the right, slotted inside Biletnikoff. 5 defensive backs in there. LaMonica gives to Smith, sending him to the left. He's got Upshaw in front. He's at the 5. He's at the 2. It's a touchdown Raiders! Charlie Smith from 9.5 yards out. Oakland has gone in front. Clarence Davis is in for Charlie Smith. He's a deep threat on pass reception. Back goes Stabler to pass. Steps away from the rush. He's going to run up the left side.